Welcome back to the channel. We're talking about monetization of your local newsletter. We're using the Bend Buzz, which is based in Bend in Oregon, as our example to talk us through this. You can see that they're producing local newsletters on a weekly basis. And down here, we talked already about them making money through their jobs board, which you can see here. Which is part of their website. The monetization strategy that we're going to talk about today, though, however, is we're going to talk about their ads. So when you're setting up your local newsletter and you want to make money, then you really want a headline sponsor to your ads. So that's what you can see right now at the beginning of this local newsletter here. So we've got a good morning introduction that kind of sets up what's happening in the newsletter. We've got a few highlights of what's happening. We've got the ad up here, the together with, and then we go straight into the sponsorship where we get information. And just look how simple this is. We've got the graphic, the title, we've got a bit of information, we've got a link, we've got a button, which is also essentially a link as well. And this is money in the bank. This is money that has been made by this newsletter for having this at the top of their newsletter issue. And you can do this as a one-off, or you can offer people the sponsorship for a month. What I really like about this as well is straight under the ad, they've advertised that you can actually be featured if you're interested. Because remember, it's local people that are signing up to this newsletter because they want to know about the local area, but they could also be business owners as well. So business owners can come along, click the form, apply, and you could actually take money up front straight away if you want to, or you can just get them to fill out the form. So you've got that opportunity to review all the applications and decide who is best. But what you can see then is we've got a few of the main happenings in the area. We've got the business happenings. We have got an image. We have got another ad, which can be paid, more paid money. We've got what's happening on Friday, Saturday, and what's happening on Sunday in the local area in Bend, in Oregon. And then we've got live music as well. Now, we always say put events and live music at the end because that's what people really want to read, which means they're definitely going to scroll past the ad and therefore you're going to get more clicks. But let's talk about how much money you could make from these ads, because this is what we're talking about in the first part of this series. We're talking about monetization. So I'm just over here in ChatGPT. This is a chat that I have trained to give me monetization ideas and numbers and be creative about specifically how to make money with a local newsletter. So the whole thing's trained. So all I need to do is give it a sentence or two, and then it's got all of the background information in the first prompt, so it can spit out information for me very quickly. So I just want to talk about the kind of business that you want to be approaching for this kind of ad that goes at the top, or the kind of ad where you're going to be able to, you're looking at giving them this much space, all of this in your local newsletter. So the first thing we want to do is we want to target premium sectors. This is what we might call high ticket local services. People that have money to spend, and to them spending $200 or $500 on an ad in your newsletter doesn't feel like a massive risk to them, because just one sale will bring them in thousands of pounds, and therefore they know they can easily cover that. If you're trying to get a nail salon or something like that to pay you $500 for one ad in your newsletter, they're just not going to be able to have financial sense. But if you work with premium sectors like realtors, like law firms, like solicitors, like private schools, like roofers, or other luxury home services, people who are normally expecting to get 1,000, 5,000 from one customer, then asking them to sponsor your newsletter for $500 or for $1,500 a month, just to be that one sponsor for that one category. Because this is one thing we say a lot. It's like, don't take on 10 plumbers, just work with one plumber or one roofer. Then, because you're offering exclusivity and because you're working with somebody who's high ticket, you're more likely to make money, and good money, from these. And remember, we can take this money, $500 at 50 cents on meta ads. That $500, you could turn it into 1,000 subscribers, or you can keep it as profit. So what we're going to do is, that's who we're going to target. But what we're also going to do is we're going to bundle in value. And what I mean by that is you are going to do all the hard work. They're not going to send you anything. So let's just go back and take a look at this ad here. We've got this image. Now, this is easy for me to take off this business's website, or I may take an image that has come from their Google My Business. So when you go into Google and you look up a business, you can look at all the pictures that are associated with that business. I can take that. Then I've got some information. Now I can take this information off their homepage. I can then run it through ChatGPT and get ChatGPT to write my ad for me very quickly. I picked out the main things. I've negotiated that there's going to be a holiday special, which I always recommend you want some kind of promotion in the newsletter because you're going to get them more clicks. And then we've got the contact information as well. And I probably make this clickable so that we can track clicks as well for people that want to go through to the website. But all of this, I can do it myself. I can find the email address, the website, the telephone number. I'm going to take all that hassle and stress off the business by doing that themselves. So we're bundling value. We're giving them good quality featured article or a big ad slot and a logo, and we're taking the workload off them by doing it themselves. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to highlight the local reach, the fact that we target people within the local area. So this business over here, they only want, or they serve people in Bend. They know that their people reading this newsletter are in Bend. So you've got that hyper local aspect to the ad, which a lot of other advertisers can't necessarily offer. Also, local newsletters have really high open rates, sometimes as high as 70, just under 80%. So there's a huge amount of community trust and huge open rates. You can also add lead magnets. So for example, local reports or some kind of offer like we just said with the 20% off, and you can upsell as well. So if you get somebody who's interested in promoting the newsletter, you can say, okay, that's $500, but then you can also throw on the website or social media. So here, this is the website that goes alongside the newsletter. We could say, well, we've got a blog. Let's put you in the blog as well. And then that's an ad. We've got the jobs board, we've got the newsletter, and they've got social media. So what you're able to do is bundle those together and add on extra. And also, it's low cost to you. I mean, most people could pull a picture off a website, they could take some information and rewrite it themselves or put it into ChatGPT. They can find a telephone number. This is just your time, which means that what we're looking at is huge profit margins. So with minimal design and management, then your profits, you're looking at 80 to 90%. I'd probably even say more than that. I mean, if you're not doing actual design work, you could be doing like 95, 99% profit margins. It's literally just your time. The rest of it is cash flow to put in whatever you want. Now, these numbers can sometimes be a little bit confusing because it does depend on how big your newsletter is. So what I've done next in this little tool that helps me out is I've asked it to give me pricings for the lead headline sponsorship based on the following newsletter sizes. So we can get some ideas of how much we should be charging. Now, these are not concrete numbers. You really just have to go out there and you have to see what people say yes and no to. And on top of that, you need to try out some different premium sectors. Okay, these numbers are not going to work, like I said, for like a local blowout bar or something like that. So if you're at 0 to 500 subs, you're probably looking at $50 to $100 a month for 4 issues. You've got small reach, and this is actually great for local testing. So I really wouldn't worry about how much money you're making. Just get ads in, get the clicks in, get some results, get some feedback, get some testimonials while you are, definitely around under 250 subs. Then you can start to charge. For 500 to 999 subs, you're looking at the 100 to 200 mark. You're growing, and also what you can do is you can show growth as well. So by this point, by the time you get to, around 1,000 subs, you've probably been growing your newsletter for a couple of months, which means you've got decent data on how many people are opening it, how many people are clicking on links. You can say, look, I've been adding 200, 400, 500 subscribers a month. So if you go with a 3-month package with me, then, the audience you're getting in front of is going to be a lot bigger, but you're paying this price for the smaller audience. 1,000 to nearly 5,000, you're looking at 250 to 600 a month. And then we get to 5 to 10,000, you're looking at 750 to 1,500 a month for premium exposure. You can have the analytics. You probably would have grown your social media, so you can have social media shout outs, you can create videos, all kinds of other things that you can add in. And I also would always recommend this as well. See if you can give them, get them into a bundle as well. So it doesn't have to be 3 consecutive months. You could say, look, let's do November, do January, we'll do March. So every other month, pay for 3 months up front for, let's say, you're about 3,000 size. Lock in at 250 now. By the time I get to March, I'm going to be well bigger than I am now, which means you should be charged a lot more. But if you lock in this price now, you're still going to get the exposure. And most people will say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do that. And if you're getting, let's say, 2 ads in a newsletter, because we had this big one in the middle and this one at the top, and then let's say that you're in this bracket here, then that's $500 a month that you're getting from 2 advertisers. But if you get them in a bundle for 3 months, that's £1,500, and you can put all of that money back into Facebook ads, and that's 3,000 subscribers you've added on just by getting 2 people to say yes to paying you $250 a month, in order for you to cut and paste a bit of text and an image and a link into your newsletter. Not difficult at all, and huge profit margins. So that is another way that you can monetize and make money from your local newsletter. And as I said, 250 subscribers, once you hit that point, you know that you're going to be able to do this. Start making those phone calls. You can even run ads to get people to fill out your form in order to apply to be a advertiser. Start getting yourself working towards getting people to sponsor your newsletter. If you're wanting to know more then about how to start a local newsletter, then check out this video on the screen now.